Why are the likes of DK Shivakumar, the Congress's heavyweight politician from Karnataka, and Shashi Tharoor coming under fire from within the Congress party? What does that reflect about the politics of these two gentlemen and the politics of those who currently think they run the Congress party? That is my top focus on the news track now.
DK Shivakumar's Shiv Bhakti has Congress seeing red. After Tharoor, DKS faces Congress fire. Why is Congress gunning for its own? Congress versus Congress. Big focus on News Track.
The world witnessed the spectacular Mahashivratri celebrations at Sadhguru's Isha Yoga Center in Coimbatore. Everyone also saw the political bigwigs who were present on the stage. But it is Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivakumar's attendance that triggered a furor. And it is his own party leaders from within the Congress who are gunning for DKS. Congress Secretary PV Mohan has accused Shivakumar of betraying the party's secular credentials and of cozying up with Amit Shah and the BJP.
The peak of Shiva devotion. That's how Karnataka Deputy CM described the Mahashivratri celebrations at Sadhguru's Isha Foundation in Coimbatore. The night-long festivities were attended by a host of politicians, including Home Minister Amit Shah. DK Shivakumar took to social media to talk about his Shiv Bhakti.
I'm a Hindu, I say. I'm a born Hindu. I'll die as a Hindu. But I love all religion. I love all religion. I respect all religion. I love whichever religion. When I was in jail, I learned about Sikhism.
While the Karnataka Deputy CM declared that Shiva is in his name, he drew the wrath of his own party member. All India Congress Committee Secretary PV Mohan accused DK Shivakumar of damaging the secular core of the Congress party.
Isha Foundation or Vasudev, Jaggi Vasudev, his ideas, his narratives all align with the RSS and BJP. This one.
Okay.
That is the we are totally against the RSS ideology. And Rahul repeatedly told whole the mindset of RSS or in the party they can leave.
It's not just Shivratri celebrations. DK Shivakumar also took the dip at the Mahakumbh earlier this month, where he praised the arrangements.
My experience was very good. Number one, I appreciated the organization which they have done. It is not a small job. I don't like to find faults, but it is satisfaction, one satisfaction.
The Karnataka Deputy CM has even declared Sonia Gandhi a Hindu.
I have seen Sonia Gandhi conducting our Ugadi festival. I once went there to meet her 25 years back. Ugadi festival. I never knew that Kashmir and Karnataka, same day they celebrate Ugadi festival. She is more an Hindu, adopted Indian than all of us.
Shivakumar's Mahashivratri and Mahakumbh celebrations have triggered a political war of words.
Isha Foundation, a Hindu Karikrama, Hindu celebration is not new for BJP, but it is new for Congress. Shashi Tharoor also is in the media he is closer to BJP. That's the media last 1 week. So now you are tallying with DK Shivakumar also. No Congress people up to now, they are not given this Hindu statement. Nobody, not Siddaramaiah, not Parameshwar, anybody. I born Hindu, I will die Hindu. Nobody given the statement. Only DK Shivakumar is given the statement. So that is the speciality of DK Shivakumar.
Individually, anybody wants to go participate in any religious function, it's left up to them. If you want to go to Kumbh, it's left up to you. You want to go for Mahashivratri celebration, you want to go for go to Ajmer, or you want to go to church anywhere. It's individual practice, right? It's individual belief. Anybody needs to comment on that. But going to an RSS function is definitely not something that the DCM has done.
DK Shivakumar has been at the center of a power struggle and speculations regarding Congress leadership in Karnataka. While he's declared that he was born a congressman, he has also maintained that he is a staunch Hindu at heart. With Sagay Raj in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today.
It's not just DK Shivakumar who's come under fire from within. Even the Congress's superstar Thiruvananthapuram MP Shashi Tharoor seems to be facing a lot of disquiet from within, with public attacks on several of the positions that he's taken. For example, praising Prime Minister Modi's recent visit to the United States. The Congress clearly seems uncomfortable with that. Dr. Tharoor, in fact, sought a meeting with the top leadership of the Congress party, where he asked for clarity on his role in national politics and in Kerala politics. Take a look at the tangle that Tharoor finds himself in.
Congress's Tharoor tangle only seems to be getting deeper. Days after the Congress MP hinted at exploring options if not given a clear role within the party, it appears that the Congress is unwilling to accommodate his concerns. Sources say in a meeting with Rahul Gandhi, Tharoor expressed dissatisfaction over being sidelined and sought clarity on his position within the party. But Rahul was unwilling to make any commitments. Tharoor reportedly voiced frustration over being removed from the All India Professional Congress, a body he founded, and his limited opportunities to speak in Parliament. Tharoor reportedly questioned whether the party wanted him to shift focus to Kerala politics, but received no clear response. Rahul reiterated that Congress does not announce chief ministerial candidates before elections, leaving Tharoor without clarity on his future role. He had also hinted at taking up responsibilities in the Congress youth wing, but Rahul reportedly dismissed the idea. On Tuesday, Tharoor loyalist and Lok Sabha MP K. Raghavan met Congress's Kerala in charge Deepa Dasmunsi in Delhi and apprised her of the political situation after Tharoor's article widened the rift among party leaders. All eyes now are on Friday's Kerala Congress meeting called by Mallikarjun Kharge and Rahul Gandhi in Delhi. With Mausami Singh, Bureau Report, India Today.
Just as we put out that report, Congress Member of Parliament Shashi Tharoor has tweeted to say that he's been misrepresented in the media after that podcast with the Indian Express. He says when he spoke of options, he had literary options in mind, and that didn't in any way suggest that he was considering other political options. For more on the series of tweets that he's put out, I'm joined by Mausami. She's our Chief Congress Correspondent. Mausami, take us through what Dr. Shashi Tharoor is saying in these tweets that have come a few days after this controversy exploded. He's giving his side of the picture, Mausami.
Mr. Tharoor has in fact put out a series of posts, in fact slamming and blaming it squarely on the podcast and the misreporting that happened when the translations were done. He says they were misuse of words, misleading headlines that really were quoted out. He was quoted out of context, and he, in fact, clarifying that when he spoke about literary options, they were put out as options, thereby hinting at political options, and the entire media, in fact, lapped up his remarks and created an unnecessary controversy, and he's in no mood to, in fact, add more fuel to the fire, because it really put him in an embarrassing situation, as it had come during the time, and in fact post, the podcast had come post his audio he had when he had an audience with Rahul Gandhi. So really, I think that he's really decided to bury and cap this entire controversy with those social media posts.
Are Congress leaders making a big mistake when they attack the likes of the Karnataka heavyweight leader DK Shivakumar or the Trinavantapuram superstar MP Dr. Shashi Tharoor? Because these are amongst the brightest stars of the Congress party. Now, DK Shivakumar stands accused of sharing a stage or being on the same platform as Sadhguru, who's been an opponent of the Congress and its ways, and seems to be a supporter of the RSS and its ways. And DK Shivakumar being next to him has really got a lot of leaders riled up. And you've got Shashi Tharoor also facing fire from within. Is the party becoming increasingly intolerant? Is this even okay? Shouldn't leaders have more breathing room to be able to voice their opinions and tread a different path if they so desire? What's really going on here? To talk about this, I'm joined on this broadcast. I want to welcome first Sanjay Jha. We have Rajat Sethi joining us. We have Anand Ranganathan and Swati Chaturvedi. I want to go across first to Swati to try and understand what's at play. Because at one level, Sadhguru's views on the RSS, the BJP, the Congress are known from earlier. It's not as if he said what he did just on the occasion of Mahashivratri. He's been indicating things in the same direction for a while. Do you think it is wrong for DK Shivakumar to share the stage with him, or are Congress leaders like PV Mohan completely out of line when they attack one of the most valuable stars the Congress has at the moment?
Rahul, I think it's completely ridiculous for any political leader not to feel that he's untouchable, that he cannot go and see somebody who's got a huge following. I mean, the whole point of politics and popular politics and mass leadership and being in electoral politics is to attract supporters, is to attract voters, is to attract friends and influencers. Here, what do you have? You're a party which claims fighting against fascism, it's fighting against authoritarianism, and it is laying down the line that Shashi Tharoor cannot praise somebody. Now here we have a man who's a UN expert, he's an expert diplomat. If he takes a national line, why should it bother the Congress party? It's extremely juvenile. As far as DKS is concerned, Sadhguru has a huge following in Karnataka. He's a popular leader. Why shouldn't he be taking advantage of a public, of a public stage? It's like coming on mass media. Why not? Which politician should not or boycott any forum available to just punt for popularity? We're a democracy, for God's sake. How else do you appeal to voters?
Professor Anand Ranganathan, what do you think is at play? I mean, all kinds of theories now doing the rounds. DK Shivakumar went there to meet with Amit Shah. Neither of them have confirmed this, or that he's becoming the Hindutva face of the Congress. He's facing fire from within only because he went to a platform which was hosted by Sadhguru.
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to my fellow panelists. I think Mr. DK Shivakumar should have at least waited for an ED raid before he joined the BJP. But, he's chosen this route to do it, to praise Hinduism. But look, forget praising Hinduism. You cannot be in the Congress if you do not consciously or subconsciously undermine Hinduism. We need to go to the psyche beyond this layer, Rahul, because Congress has always employed a two-pronged strategy to undermine Hinduism. Let me give you a couple of examples. Number one, self-loathing. This involves forgetting crimes and atrocities committed against Hindus, both contemporary as well as historical. So everything from the Kashmiri Hindu genocide to the Mughal genocides to what the Moplas or the Razakars did becomes suddenly mythical and fake. Congress has poisoned the Hindu's mind with self-loathing, hatred for his own religion, way of life, drilling apathy towards the slow destruction of Hinduism, consciously and subconsciously. And if you don't through the line, you're gone through speeches, broadcasts, policies, arts, culture, cinema. So you celebrate Mahatma Gandhi saying, quote, Even if Muslims want to kill all Hindus, we should face death bravely. If they establish their rule after killing Hindus, we would be ushering in a new world, unquote. So you celebrate Nehru saying, quote, the responsibility for communal peace rests on the majority community, that is the Hindus. If there is a breach of this peace, I would start with the presumption that it has been caused by the Hindu communal ailments, unquote. So you have Babur's tomb visited by Nehru 1959, Indira 1968, Rajiv 1976, Rahul 2005. But none of them ever visited Ram Janmasthan. So you have Nehru trying to stop the president from attending the consecration of Somnath, saying he feared Hindu revivalism. You have our roads, institutions, our cities named after the barbarians who destroyed our roads, our institutions and our cities. You have from Somnath to Kashi Vishwanath, Babarpur to Bakhtiarpur, Allahabad to Aurangabad, from Martan to Mathura, the injustices towards Hindus and their culture deliberately being made visible, as though to lionize the debasement, celebrate the humiliation. So you have our children being taught to hate those they should love and love those they should hate. Second, and this is important, Rahul, give me a minute, Hindu phobia. Two of the most anti-Hindu acts, Waqf Act and Places of Worship Act, were promulgated by the Congress. Please don't forget that. And by the way, who did Rahul Gandhi meet recently? Yes, the virulently anti-Hindu pastor George Punnaya, who told him, quote, Jesus is the real God, not Shakti. And did Rahul Gandhi ever condemn Stalin's statement of wanting to eradicate Sanatan Dharma? No. Many of its leaders deliberately call Yogi Ajay Besht. The other point is, remember the statement by Congress leader Jarkholi that Hindu has a dirty meaning and Indians would be ashamed of it? There is Shivraj Patil who claimed Lord Krishna taught jihad to Arjuna. An alleged post by a Congress youth wing leader Shaukat Ali called Hinduism a terrorist religion. Recently, a Goa Congress leader Jalmi termed Hindu god Parashuram a terrorist and a rapist. Who can forget the phrase saffron terror was coined by the Congress that it wanted to pass the communal violence bill where only the majority, i.e. Hindus, would be held guilty in a communal riot. Remember how the Congress blamed the Hindu RSS 2611 attack for it? Had Kasab not been caught alive, Congress would have fortified this theory. Just 10 seconds. Please remember how Congress leaders publicly butchered a calf just to mock Hindu sensibilities in Kerala. Recall how time and again the Congress insults and denigrates Hindutva despite Supreme Court asserting that, quote, Hindutva means Indian culture, not merely Hindu religion. Just 10 seconds. So there we have it, Rahul. Congress ke do anmol ratan, self-loathing and Hindu phobia. And if you don't toe this line, you are K.
Sanjay Jha, Professor Anand Ranganathan taking this to an extreme, saying that this reflects the problem with the Congress, where they're constantly attacking all Hindu beliefs. I mean, DK Shivakumar went to the Kumbh. He goes and attends this grand Mahashivratri function being organized by Sadhguru. Swati has an important point. He has a catchment, he has a certain traction, a certain purchase in a certain community. To go out, be amongst his supporters, you're trying to woo them to your side, which is what good politicians should do. Why should Congress leaders have such a problem with DK Shivakumar if he does this?
Rahul, I'll take only 30 seconds, I promise you that. The core fundamental issue is what Swati mentioned. The Congress party's leadership cannot be thin-skinned on issues of what is regarding either DK or even Dr. Tharoor making a generous statement. Even if Mr. Modi's trip was seen by many people to be a rather embarrassing fiasco, if Shashi felt differently, so be it. The Congress is a Big Ten party. It's a more inclusive party. It's meant to be an all-encompassing party, and it should stick to that rather more liberal outlook, not just for the external voters, but even internally within the party. As far as Dr. Ranganathan is concerned, I want to just tell your viewers, I mean, this is the problem with people who have a very fundamentalist religious thinking. There's a conversation happening which is more nuanced. But, you know, we have a digital teleprompter in front of us, and we go into making a major Hindu-centric, a very toxic conversation that is beneath my dignity to even respond to.
Professor Ranganathan is accusing you of using a teleprompter. Do you want to respond to that before I go across to Rajat?
Look, you can... talking sense to Sanjay is like giving a comb to a bald man. Look, let's not get personal out here. I told you the psyche. This has happened time and again, and to be honest with you, I think Ms. Swati is also correct. I mean, how many examples do you want where somebody who's been not just critical, who stated out the facts, has been, well, I mean, you have the example right in front of you. All Sanjay did once upon a time, God knows how many years ago, was write an op-ed saying this needs to be done. The next thing you know, he's been suspended for a decade. Do you remember Gaur in Rajasthan, MLA, the assembly, who said, before pointing fingers at Manipur. Can we please look at the condition of women and crimes against women in Rajasthan? Next thing you know, he's suspended. Same with Sanjay Nirupam. Sachin Pilot had to face sedition charges. So there is no internal democracy in the Congress. The moment you do not toe either the dynasty line or the anti-Hindutva line, you are gone.
Okay, let Rajat Sethi come in, because you referred to the case of Sanjay Jha, and that's interesting because he made a point of view, he has a point of view. Can the Congress still be a big tent which allows for different points of view from the left to the right and allow for different points of view to exist, or is it becoming increasingly insular and increasingly adhering to only a particular point of view, which is the Rahul Gandhi worldview? If you like that, you're in the good books of the Congress leadership that matters. If you don't like that and if you speak against it, you could well be out in the jungle.
Rahul, the tent is just too small, or it has gotten very small now. It can only accommodate Gandhi and the Gandhi loyalists in that tent. So anybody who is even remotely at the periphery is rather kicked out by that coterie. The real problem here is that Congress is still not come to sync with understanding that this is a new era, a new Modi consensus, whatever you want to call it, where people are confident about their religious beliefs. Some want to make it a public affair, some want to keep it a private affair. What I see is that DK Shivakumar has religious beliefs, and following those beliefs, he went in and visited in Coimbatore the ashram, which is the Isha's ashram. Now, where does the real problem lie? I don't understand. The real problem here is perhaps Congress and the Congress's that small coterie, they do not know how to respond to a scenario where some of the leaders are following their personal faith, which happens to be Hindutva in this case. I don't see them, crying out loud if say one of the leader goes to a church and does something similar. The real problem is they have muddled up Hinduism and BJP and RSS all together.
No, but the fact also is that
they can't even distinguish.
Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev, from that stage, in the presence of the Home Minister, was constantly praising the Home Minister, praising the anti-Naxal efforts of this government, and therefore there are those in the Congress saying, "Bhai, hame tumhe baithne ki kya zarurat padi?" Look at the fact that Sadhguru is constantly praising your opponents. Why sit and applaud while this happens? That's the argument that I suppose they're making.
No, so see, that is fair. I mean, it was left to him. He could have handled it in a way where he could have ensured that he either ensures that meetings minutes are discussed with him, wherein such a utterance was not there. And even if it is there, as long as you're able to politically have that confidence. The real problem is that Congress leaders are completely bereft of that fundamental confidence that you need to have in public spaces. How do you hold if somebody is praising somebody in a public setting? Do you walk out? Do you handle it? Do you handle it confidently? These are all arrays and shades of responses that you can come up with. Perhaps DK Shivakumar believes in his politics and he believes let Sadhguru praise the Home Minister. So be it. He might that is his opinion. He's not taking those statements. But these nuances are very hard for Congress leadership in the current day and time to understand. This comes out of sheer lack of sheer insecurities in their politics, which is sort of throwing out these situations.
You're calling this insecure politics by those who matter in the Congress at this moment. Swati Chaturvedi, it's not like DK Shivakumar praised the Home Minister or his politics. He basically sat through a function where Sadhguru Vasudev is the one who said what he did, and therefore can DK Shivakumar, what was he supposed to do? Stand up, walk out, do some Murdabad? What was the expectation? Is he being unfairly targeted in this fashion from within? It's not as if he's being targeted from outside. The targeting is happening from within.
That's the thing, Rahul, is such an own goal. Because, if you remember, Rahul Gandhi once made the point that he and LK Advani wish nothing but good for each other. It's the politics, in a democracy, you're not opposing, it's not a personal thing. You're opposing, you have an ideological opposition, you have a nuanced sort of opposition as an opposition. It's not a personal animosity. Now, the problem is that in the Congress party today, because of the visceral antipathy that the Gandhi family and Mr. Modi have to each other, you are either, it's like, you have someone like K.C. Venugopal, who will always be preferred to Shashi Tharoor, who has a much bigger base, or even in this case, DKS, because these are mature mass leaders. They know that they cannot be just catering to the constituency of the Gandhi family. They have a constituency which is bigger, perhaps, than the palace coterie. So this is the problem. The minute one of them does something which is normal politics, going to the Kumbh Mela or going to a mass gathering or even frankly meeting Amit Shah, I'm sorry, but what is the problem if the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka goes to an event where Mr. Amit Shah attends? What is this political untouchability now that you cannot even share a stage? It is just ridiculous. What did Shashi Tharoor do? He made a nuanced, qualified statement on the Prime Minister's visit to the US, for which he was pilloried, called all sorts of names. They said he's joining the BJP. This is getting the politics of untouchability is getting ridiculous now.
You're calling this the politics of untouchability, and in fact, Professor Anand Ranganathan, these things have a self-fulfilling prophecy about them. You may not, like Shashi Tharoor, I don't see him being comfortable in the BJP or comfortable with the RSS. That's not his worldview. But if he keeps getting attacked, the man will at some point in time reach a level of frustration where he'll say, enough is enough, I don't want to have anything more to do with this. And he can make much more money speaking in public, speaking at global events, writing some books. He'll lead a better life, happier life, and not have to deal with all this politics.
No, but as far as you saying that politicians have a particular worldview and that cannot differ from week to week, that's not the case. Half the political class has been in X parties and so on and so forth. But what Swati says is right. But can I just say that this is nothing new for the Congress? The extent of it is new. Now this is all pervasive. Now you cannot even attend a function where a third rung or fourth rung leader is seen attending someone who is praising a third person. It used to be earlier at the higher echelons. For example, Chandrachud's book, if you read Supreme Whispers, is clearly mentioned that a High Court judge was to be elevated to the Supreme Court judge. At the last moment, Indira Gandhi found out that he had attended the funeral of Mr. Gowalkar, and he was not promoted to Supreme Court. So Congress has always been vindictive, but now it has gone to such an extent they cannot even stand the mention of Modi or Shah or BJP or RSS. It's gone to an extent which is absolute extreme. As I said, hatred for Modi has transmogrified into hatred for Hinduism and hatred for India.
Sanjay Jha, has it become more extreme, you think, than in the past? Nobody would be comfortable with leaders attacking their own leadership and appreciating the work of the political opponents. That would be troublesome in whichever party, whether it's Mamata Banerjee's TMC, SP, BJP, anyone. But do you think the problem with the Congress of insularity and sycophancy is now much higher than it ever used to be?
Rahul, let me be very candid here. I want to stick to the theme of your entire political debate. I would like to tell my friends in the Congress, and I know many of them very well, that the Congress with Prime Minister Nehru had Shyama Prasad Mukherjee in the cabinet. The founder of the RSS, Mr. Hedgewar, and many members of the Hindu Mahasabha were members of the Congress party, if you go back to history. So the Congress has always been a more inclusive party, and it should never forget its history. I would like to respond to the comments made by Professor Ranganathan, because he's made it into a vulgar tirade of religious toxicity on your program, and I have strategically decided not to enter into a slugfest where this kind of conversation gets amplification. But I will respond in brief. One of the reasons, Rahul, why you find that the conversation in India today, or the political discourse, is so polarized is largely because the BJP has wanted it that way. I, in fact, believe that Mr. Modi is instrumental in creating this whole political conversation, the dog whistle politics, which has resulted in hate mongers having a free day, which is why I feel I don't want to actually contest with Ranganathan, because I debate with him every day. And the language spoken is the same. They call the Congress anti-Hindu. They will call anybody who's critical of Modi as an anti-national. This is the kind of debate that I hope your viewers, and I have a lot of faith in the viewers who are watching your program, who have to distinguish between the wheat and the chaff, Because if we are going to be subjected to this kind of garbage and vile day in and day out, and I dignify it by getting into a debate with him, that is exactly what they feed on, the oxygen of greater intensity in this conversation.
Let Professor Anand Ranganathan respond, and then I go across to Rajat. Professor Ranganathan, since it's directed against you.
Now, if I also respond in the same way as this ex-suspended bank clerk does, would I be saying that let's not get personal? As I said, talking sense to this guy, Sanjay Jha, is like giving a comb to a bald man. I mean, day and night, I gave you...
Rahul, I don't want to make it cheap, but he wouldn't even be hired as a clerk in the bank I work for.
Be quiet. Stop being a bank clerk. You've been a bank clerk. Just stop.
Or even a chowkidar.
Stop, listen. Listen for a second. It will do you good. Good. Learn something from your brother, Vimlindu, who's such a better impression of the Jha clan. Now, Rahul, I gave 17 examples of rampant Hindu phobia and Hindu misia. I gave 12 examples where the Congress has actively discriminated against Hindus. In total, 29 examples in a matter of 4 minutes. Was even one rebutted by this ex-bank clerk? No. All he does every day, he comes on television, repeats the same like metronome like Tanpura. You're a bigot, you're communal, you're this. I mean, the only thing lower than his credibility is his intelligence. What can I say?
Okay, I don't want this to get personal. We'll try and raise the level of debate, but since you've attacked Sanjay Jha, I want to give him a quick opportunity to make a rejoinder. And no, I just want, in the interest of fairness, that we resolve this matter and then move on to the larger issue. Sanjay, very quickly, please.
Yeah, I've lost all respect for the gentleman who spoke before me. I'm not going to call him any names. He did, which goes to show his own insecurity. That when he actually rubbished Mahatma Gandhi, the language he used against the father of the nation made me realize that under the cloak of intellectual sophistry, here was a hate monger. Here was an epitome of somebody who comes every day on television, polarizes the debate, uses all
family has suspended him
to make one society hate the other. I don't want to join into a debate with him. I will suffer him, I'll endure him, because that is in my upbringing. He has a long way to go.
Now, this issue of polarization being extreme, I want to put that question, Rajat Sethi, because Sanjay Jha made the point that it's partly also because of the approach of the top leadership of the BJP, because they're so extreme in attacking the Gandhi family from Pandit Nehru to Rahul Gandhi. Therefore, you kind of create circumstances where people who are supporters of the Gandhi family push back in the same way, because there is no space. Like when Jaitley ji was in the center, or when Sushma ji was there was more give and take, there was more space in the middle. Now the space in the middle has been edged out. There are two very clear circles. You're either this side or that side, and there is no intersection between the two Venn diagrams.
This is a classic case of loser's lament here. You're trying to externalize the problem out of the Congress and somehow blame the BJP in this, that hum kamzor hai because BJP bahut strong hai. What kind of an argumentation this is? See, you need to understand the root causes. You are in the opposition. You are in the business of not confrontation but also co-option. You need to understand that winning hearts of even the voters who vote for the BJP is the only sure shot way for you to recover and get back in power. Do they even realize that? Do they realize what is the difference that a party which is in power can go on confronting and trying to, be restrictive, strict about and strict in its posture, be ruthless in its demeanor? All that is okay because they are in power. It is the opposition which has to have that olive branch to segments of society which has not been voting for them. And instead of course correcting, you are saying that हम वही करेंगे जो बीजेपी ने किया क्योंकि हमको कॉपी करना पड़ेगा क्योंकि बीजेपी बहुत ruthless है. What kind of an argumentation this is?
Swati Chaturvedi, are you concerned that this could likely get worse, that this is the way it is, and that there is no, the Congress has all kinds of voices. There are more moderate, sensible voices. There are more extreme, left-leaning voices. Do you feel that in this argument between those who believe in the big tent and those who believe in an insular tent, the ones who believe in a narrow personality-focused tent are actually winning over those who believe in the need for different kinds of opinions to be voiced freely and fairly?
Absolutely, Rahul, because what's happening today in the Congress is that there is a palace coterie which is around Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi himself is not very open to a lot of other voices. Rahul Gandhi likes to speak more and listen much less. And the problem with Rahul Gandhi is that, he's not one. The only thing that matters is winning elections. out of the elections contested under Rahul Gandhi's leadership, he's lost 88. So, other leaders have to take him seriously. That's not happening. So you have people like Sampit Roda, K.C. Venugopal, someone like Sajjan Kumar, for instance. He quit the Congress party in 2018. Now that man has been convicted for the Sikh riots, for murders. So this is the kind of leadership which they don't like to get rid of. Like whereas Shashi Tharoor or a case DKY is being questioned, they were quietly harboring Sajjan Kumar in their ranks. So there is something wrong with the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi presiding over this giant talent drain. I mean, it is the biggest talent.
No, but Rahul Gandhi can turn around and tell you, boss, I'm not the Congress president. Why are you blaming me? I'm just an MP.
Well, who calls the shots? Who do they all blame? Who, when they leave, what is the one thing they cite? That Shashi Tharoor met Rahul Gandhi. I can tell you on very good authority that he said Rahul Gandhi was polite, courteous, but not receptive. Now, what is Shashi Tharoor asking for? He wants to say in party affairs. He's a 4-time MP. He's won 4 Lok Sabha elections. If he wants, the next year we have Kerala elections. If he wants a say in it or he wants to be the CM face or whatever, it is legitimate political ambition. What is wrong with winning an election or trying to be a party which wins elections? What is not being receptive to political ambition, to political desire? This is after he met Rahul Gandhi. I can tell you on very good authority.
Tell us more. What do you know about how that meeting went?
Well, I can tell you that Rahul Gandhi was polite, courteous, and absolutely non-receptive to Dr. Tharoor's concerns, which were that he had got no platform, he had no voice, and he wanted to know how the party wanted to use him. Now, he was not even allowed to speak in the budget session. Now, the Congress doesn't have such, giant leadership talent that you don't allow someone like Shashi Tharoor to even speak on the budget.
But this I find very bizarre, Sanjay Jha, because Shashi Tharoor is undisputedly the #1 speaker. Arguably one of the best speakers in the country, amongst the foremost speakers globally as well, even when he was with the United Nations. To have him in your ranks and not get him to speak, it just baffles the imagination. And he's your man. I mean, this is how, forget how you treat Modi and Shah, he's your man. He's as Nehruvian can be.
Yeah, Rahul, let me tell you, I have been vocal about it. I've said it before and I'll say it on your program. Shashi should have been the leader of the Congress in the Lok Sabha instead of Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. I mean, not just because of his articulation, it's the content behind what he says, especially on the other side. When the content is subpar from the BJP, the Congress had to put its best foot forward. I, in fact, have mentioned this earlier. If Rishi Sunak could become the Prime Minister of UK, if Shashi had chosen to remain in the UK, he would have probably been a British Prime Minister at some point. So I think the Congress's inability to leverage an outstanding asset is something that it needs to work on.
Why do you think that's the case, Sanjay Jha? You understand they're functioning well. Why won't they give, not getting him to speak, whether you don't want him as Kerala chief ministerial face or not is a different matter. How much does he connect with rural Kerala? That can be a different debate, right? But not letting him speak in parliament when he's unarguably your best speaker, that makes absolutely no sense.
Well, it doesn't, and I'll tell you why it was sacrilege. I remember asking not just him, but another leader whom I hugely respect and I'm rather close to. I'm saying, why didn't you speak on the Constitutional Day debate? Shashi did not, by the way, speak even on the Constitution. And I would say these are his basically his core strengths, to talk on India's history, to talk on India's entire constitutional background. And I think this is where the Congress loses the plot. The internecine, internal little rivalry. I understand that in all political parties there's a contest within. I understand that. But you do not sacrifice the larger political future of a party because of these silly battles, especially because you're not in government. Especially because you're battling a formidable adversary which is subverting the entire system to hold on to power. At that point of time, you let your best player play. It's like sending Virat Kohli to bat at number 9 when you're chasing a huge score and you got 5 overs left. You can't do that. So I think this is basically a rather ridiculous, myopic thinking. And this is where Rahul needs to step in and ask himself, do you want to be part of the winning team, even if you are not the captain or the vice captain? Or would you like to be a captain of a team that's actually on the losing side? It's a call for the Congress leadership.
Few people understand the Congress the way Rashid Kidwai does. Mr. Kidwai, what's really going on? Swati Chaturvedi says that Rahul Gandhi heard Shashi Tharoor but wasn't receptive to his concerns. the fact that DK Shivakumar is coming under fire from inside the Congress party for sharing a stage, public stage, not some surreptitious meeting held in the shadows, a public stage with Jaggi Vasudev, who's a highly respected spiritual leader who's got a mass following. I mean, what's wrong with that? He's not meeting some terrorist, he's meeting a well-known spiritual leader.
So I think much has been made, Rahul, about all these issues. The Congress is not ideologically driven party, so therefore these things may, hurt or upset a section of the party or some individuals or so. That it's not a thing where you can hold someone responsible. It comes in the category of whether it was proper on the part of Deputy Chief Minister to be going to a function to a spiritual guru whose political imprint is not with the Congress. It is more seen with the BJP, RSS, etc. So it's a thing. I don't think any Mr. DK Shivakumar can be held responsible for sharing a stage. Remember Pranab Mukherjee shared visited and was the chief guest actually at a RSS function, but that didn't mean that Pranab Mukherjee would cease to be, a Congress person or someone, who understood the Congress ideology, policies and programs. Coming back to, I think, Shashi Tharoor, I think much has been made out to be as if Shashi Tharoor is a victim. Shashi Tharoor is a player. Rahul, just to give you a contrarian thing, when he was brought in Parliament in Indian politics, remember Kerala Congress unit is very hierarchy driven, and he was made lateral entry, given Lok Sabha ticket, much the in-house sort of anger and disquiet. I remember people like Tom Vadakan and all at that point of time were hugely upset. Then of course he was made minister, and for him to become a leader or to speak on an issue, it is his call. He, in 2019 at least, he could have contested a contest in CPP by fighting. I remember telling informally some people at that point of time in Congress that why don't you fight election, force a contest in CPP. They didn't. Then of course Shashi Tharoor forced a contest in the context of a presidential election where he fought against Mallikarjun Kharge. So there is a degree of politics is there, but I don't think in nutshell this Tharoor versus, so to say, Rahul Gandhi or Congress is going to lead to some kind of purging or exit or
no, but it creates. It's not about a purge. This is not a Soviet republic. I mean, this is about respecting and valuing those who add to your table. Shashi Tharoor is an intellectual giant. He is extremely well spoken. He's the kind of public intellectual you don't have too many of in Indian politics, full stop, and very few in the Congress. And therefore, when you have them, I mean, it's the analogy that Sanjay Jha made. If you got Virat Kohli, you want him out batting, you don't want him in the pavilion.
Absolutely, but that is for Mr. Tharoor to decide. That is for the Congress party in Parliament to decide. We cannot decide in TV.
No, but he didn't get a chance to speak. I mean, surely on the constitution or on the budget, if somebody had asked Shashi to speak, he would have happily spoken. He wasn't given the chance.
Mr. Rahul Kanwal, are you privy to information that Shashi Tharoor was upset? He wanted to speak and he was not allowed to speak. Is that the case you are making?
No, once again, that's the point that Swati and Sanjay Jha made. I'd much rather that they speak and explain.
To have, of course, they are more than welcome to have that view. I would also say, just out of the 10 debates, 9 Tharoor should be speaking. But that's not how the Congress party in Parliament functions.
Okay, let Sanjay Jha respond.
Rahul, let me give you my own personal example. When I had my, fracas with the Congress, the organizer of the RSS approached me to do an interview with them, a Q&A. And I did that. And I'm the biggest critique of the RSS's ideology for India. I just believe that engagement with all types. I'm not a follower of Sadhguru at all. And I know there are all kinds of cases against him in Tamil Nadu. But can I stop anybody, political or otherwise, from loving his teachings or watching his YouTube videos? For God's sake, the Congress party has to recognize you've got to be ideologically a lot more accommodative. I agree with Rashid that the Congress doesn't have a hardcore ideology, but that's exactly the reason why you need to include as many people with diverse tastes and ideas. That's the beauty of the Congress party.
But the fact also is, there's a different way, Professor Ranganathan, of looking at this as I come to the end of this debate, that you want to reach out to those who don't agree, because many of these spiritual leaders, many of these seers, at one point in time when the Congress was in power, were not necessarily with the Congress, but sided with the Congress in different ways. You want to reach out. You've got about 20% of the vote. If you have to ever come back to power, you have to bring the others on board. By attacking constantly anybody who seems in the middle, I mean, you're harming your own case than doing it any good.
And I'll tell you, couple of points out here. Look, let's be honest out here. Shashi Tharoor has never ever gone against Congress or its ideology. All he does from time to time, for whatever motivation it might be or not be, he praises the quote-unquote opponent. And that is why the problem happens, because the dynasty and the doormats, they expect complete and total and utter subservience. And let's not go overboard out here. Shashi Tharoor is a decent speaker, but I'm sorry to call him an intellectual giant. I mean, he's as vacuous as Sanjay Jha in many of the arguments. For example, he says that Congress upholds free speech. Pandit Nehru upheld free speech. I mean, the man doesn't know his history. He's brainwashed. He was supporting, the repeal of the farm laws when Congress itself was promising the farm laws. I mean, he's been wrong so many times. He's lied so many times. He's a politician, so I don't mind it. But to call him an intellectual giant, I'm sorry, that's going overboard. But as far as Congress is concerned, yes, he is a giant among minnows in the Congress party.
A lot of this is relative, Professor Ranganathan. You're a giant relative to everybody else in the army. I mean, so that's also a fact. So, but I'm now running out of time. So I want final words from Swati. She's got this wry smile on her face. You've heard what Rashid Kidwai is saying. He's saying, you know, has Shashi told you that he wanted to speak and didn't get to speak? Respond to that, Swati. You're on mute, I think.
Obviously, I'm not going to be breaking confidential sources, but yes, I can safely tell you that yes, he did want to speak. Yes, he did meet Rahul Gandhi, and till date, somebody very, very close to him says that he's right now in the Congress only to spite all those leaders who actually want him out. He's being pushed out. He's being made to feel that he's very much in the cold. He's not wanted.
Rashid Kidwai, and that's what you don't want. You don't want people who think like you, who subscribe to your point of view, feeling left out. And this has happened to so many people, from Jyotiraditya Scindia to Jatin Prasad, RPN Singh. There's a long list of those who at one point in time were close to the family and then just for various reasons were forced out or left on their own.
So I think, Rahul, it's a debatable point, but the fact of the matter is, if you're not, getting your due in a political party, the ideology you subscribe, you don't go and join the, so to say, the enemy camp. So therefore, I think there is a great merit in what Swati is saying, that he is staying in Congress as of now, and he will, in my understanding, will continue to, because he doesn't want to go and join, politically speaking, to the enemy camp. And therefore, there is a, only option for him is to, start a regional outfit or, form a bloc. And he has a lot of support base, not only in the Nair community, but IUML and several other outfits in Kerala would support him. So you have UDF, LDF, BJP, and you have a Tharoor bloc. But then you need money, you need symbol, you need, in terms of election commission can only give you a symbol 6 months before elections. And it becomes very difficult for a new political party or new political group to come. So there are a lot of practical problems. I think Mr. Tharoor, among other things, he may be an intellectual giant or not, but he's a very pragmatic person. He's a politician among politicians, and he will make a judicious call.
Okay, but the fact is, just try and welcome those you have, rather than chase them out, hound them, attack them. That's not nice. You heard from our panelists, as always on the news track. I don't tell you what to think. You've heard the panelists. You decide who you think has the more compelling argument. Professor Ranganathan, Sanjay Jha, Swati Chaturvedi, thank you very much for joining us, to Rashid Kidwai as well. The 45-day Mahakumbh culminating on Mahashivratri, Prime Minister Modi and Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath have hailed its organization as a massive success. In an emotional blog post, PM Modi called the Kumbh the Mahayagya of unity. He also praised Yogi Adityanath for making this mega event successful.
A glorious end to a 45-day-long festival of faith. Hailing the successful culmination of the Mahakumbh in Prayagraj, Prime Minister Narendra Modi penned a heartfelt message to the devotees, organizers and the Uttar Pradesh government for holding a mega Kumbh Mela unlike ever seen before. Recalling the 45 days of Kumbh in his blog post, Prime Minister Modi describes how the dip of faith at the Sangam brought immense energy to devotees. Modi hailed the world's largest spiritual gathering as a case study for planning and policy experts. Claiming the Kumbh bears no comparison to any other gathering in the entire world, the Prime Minister said the massive gathering laid a foundation for centuries to come. and added that India is moving forward to a new future with new energy. Hailing the Kumbh of Unity's success, Prime Minister also sought forgiveness for any shortcomings at the Kumbh. And finally, the Prime Minister lauded Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath for his role in the success and thanked all service and support staff for their devoted contribution. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath too held a thanksgiving for the Kumbh's success, reviewing cleanliness at the ghats, lunching with the Swachh warriors.
सरकार ने तय किया है प्रयागराज महाकुंभ के साथ जुड़े हुए जो भी स्वच्छता कर्मी थे, स्वास्थ्य कर्मी थे, इन सबको हम लोग एक अतिरिक्त बोनस देंगे 10,000 रुपए का। इस महीने के दौरान इन्होंने जो कार्य किया है।
He also performed the Ganga Aarti. Yogi was all praised for all who aided in the Kumbh's smooth functioning.
आज महाकुंभ के बहाने प्रयागराज सिटी एक आधुनिक सिटी, स्मार्ट सिटी के रूप में चमक रही है। प्रयागराज वासियों का भी अभिनंदन करूंगा जिन्होंने पिछले 2 महीनों के अंदर बिना किसी संकोच के इस पूरे आयोजन को अपने घर का आयोजन माना।
The Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister also ripped into the opposition, claiming they were spreading lies on the Kumbh.
विरोधी और विपक्षी लगातार दुष्प्रचार कर रहे थे, बदनाम कर रहे थे, अपमानित करने की भाषा का उपयोग कर रहे थे। जनता जनार्दन ने एक सिरे से उन्हें खारिज करके प्रयागराज महाकुंभ में आकर के साबित किया कि नहीं, तुम्हारे दुष्प्रचार में अब नहीं आएंगे, सनातन का ध्वजा अब कभी झुकने वाली नहीं है।
Over 65 crore devotees flocked to Prayagraj for the special dip of faith, marking a spectacular end to this year's one-of-a-kind Kumbh. Bureau Report, India Today.
This is where I wrap up the news track tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.